Hello students, the Teachers Academy welcomes you back to the recorded video lessons of Basics English Grammar course. In this lesson, our main focus is on the usage of past tense. So you will learn the usage of simple past tense with be form of verb. Not only that, you will also learn the usage of regular verbs and irregular verbs. Let's firstly discuss what simple past tense is. So simple past tense describes the actions done in past time. Today we will discuss some concepts related to past. The first concept is simple past tense with be. So whenever we form a simple positive sentence in the past, in place of am we use was. In place of is, we use was. Instead of are, we use were. In negatives, we usually use am not in present, but in past it becomes wasn't. Isn't becomes wasn't, but aren't becomes weren't. Let us see some examples in present and past tense. See, in present it is today I am happy, but in past it becomes yesterday I was happy. Likewise, she is a teacher. She was a teacher. It's in the past. Similarly, we are in America now. In past, last year we were in America. Now let's discuss some negative sentences. So in case in present it is I am not happy. In past it becomes I wasn't happy. Similarly, she is not a teacher becomes she wasn't a teacher. Likewise, we are not in America becomes we weren't in America in the past. Now these were the negative sentences. Let's move on to the interrogative sentences. Now coming to the interrogative sentences, you will learn how these are used in past. Let's have a look at the examples. The first one is, were you sick yesterday? So you can see were has been used because it is past form of verb, and then subject you has been used to form a question. The possible answer can be yes, I was. Similarly, why were you absent yesterday? Why has been used to ask a question, to ask some information. The answer can be because I was ill. The next example is, were you at home yesterday? Yesterday has been used to depict past. The answer can be yes, I was. Last example is, where were you yesterday? The answer can be I was at home. Now, after discussing the be forms of verb in past tense, we have come to the usage of regular and irregular verbs in past tense. Let's firstly discuss what these are. Let's start with simple past tense with regular verbs. Do you know what regular verbs are? Regular verbs, the past form of verbs which are formed by adding d, ed and IED are called as regular verbs. Let's have a look at some examples of regular verbs. For example, the base form is die. In past it becomes died. If in present it is walk, in past it becomes walked. Talk becomes talked in the past. Similarly, a verb such as smile becomes smiled. Stay becomes stayed. In smile and stay we have added d and ed. But in the last verb cry, we have added IED. Cry becomes cried. So let's discuss the usage of these regular verbs in sentences. The first thing to keep in mind is the rule. In order to make positive sentences, the rule which you will follow is subject, past form of verb and object. Let's see how this rule is used in past tense. The first example, I visited a park yesterday. So I is the subject, visited is the past form of verb and a park is the object. You can also see a past time word yesterday. In the next example, he walked to school yesterday morning. He is the subject, walked is the past form of verb and school is the object. Similarly, they ate sandwiches. They is the subject, ate is the past form of verb and sandwiches is the object here. Now let's discuss some time words which can be used in simple past tense. Yesterday, yesterday morning, last night, last week, last year, 2 hours ago, 1 week ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago or years ago. These are the most common time words you can use in past tense. Now, after discussing the usage of regular verbs, we have come to the usage of past tense with irregular verbs. So, you need to understand what irregular verbs are. Irregular verbs are the verbs that do not end with D, ED or IED. Let's have a look at some examples. For example, the base form is do. It becomes did in the past. The verb see becomes saw. The verb eat becomes ate. The verb buy becomes bought. Go becomes went. And know becomes knew. So you can see that every verb has been changed in a different manner. These are called as irregular verbs. Nevertheless, there are some verbs which do not change the forms at all. The following are some examples. Cut, for instance, remains same in the past form. Similarly, hit remains same. Put also remains same. The verb quit is also quit in the past form. Now let's discuss how these verbs are used in sentences. The first example is he saw the film last week. You can see saw is the verb here. It is a past sentence. Similarly, my family went to the zoo yesterday morning. Went is the verb which has been used here. The next example is we ate lunch early today. Although we are talking about today, but it is in the past. So we used ate, the past form of eat. And at last, the child hit the ball. Hit is the verb which has been used here. Thanks for watching this video lecture. Now it's time for you to do the exercises.